The Indiana Electoral College of 2020 is now convened. As the Secretary of State and Chief Election Officer of the state of Indiana, I would like to welcome you all to this historic meeting of our state's presidential electors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Indiana's electors and alternate electors. Please stand as I call on Beth Boyce from Johnson County and to give the invocation, and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Dana Dumazich from Lake County.
Her stool. Please bow your heads and join me in prayer. Dear Lord, as we gather here today to represent our fellow Hoosiers in the democratic process, we thank God for the blessing of living in this free nation, the greatest nation on earth. We ask for God's guidance and wisdom as we carry out the business before us here today. As we close out 2020, we pray for all of those affected by this challenging year. May God bring peace and blessing to those impacted, and health and safety to us all in the new year. We pray for the future of our nation, our leaders, and our fellow citizens. As we enter into the Christmas season, we ask for God to fill our hearts with gratitude and peace. We ask for special care for those that are hurting, sick, or alone this holiday season. Please never let us forget all of our blessings come from you. We ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Beth and Dana. I'd like to thank each of you for your participation in this time-honored ceremony. Today is a celebration for all Hoosiers and all Americans. It took months of hard work to prepare for the election and to get us to this point today. As Indiana's chief election official, I am proud to say that with the help of local election workers, bipartisan cooperation, and a little patience, we had a fair and accurate election. The process worked, and I'm thankful for all of the state and local officials who worked diligently to ensure a smooth election, and to all of the volunteers who worked the polls. Thank you very much. After the election cycle is over, this tradition demonstrates to Americans and to the rest of the world that whatever political differences we may have between us, we are one nation, and we will unite to continue to grow stronger and to better our country. Early this year, each political party submitted a slate of 11 presidential and vice presidential electors and 11 alternates to my office. The political party whose presidential candidate won the popular vote in Indiana has the privilege of sitting here today. Today, the 11 electors are here to cast their vote for presidential candidate Donald J. Trump and for vice presidential candidate Michael R. Pence. I hope that each of you understands what an honor and a privilege it is to be one of the only 538 presidential electors in the entire United States, and one of only 634 Hoosiers who have ever had this honor since our state joined the Union over 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, in 1816. Take pride in your role in the long and glorious story of our republic. Congratulations, and God bless each of you. Based on the certified statements from each circuit court clerk in Indiana, mailed or delivered to the Secretary of State of the state of Indiana, and the canvassing and comparison of the votes set forth in those statements as conducted in my office on the 24th day of November, 2020. I, Connie Lawson, the duly elected and acting Secretary of State of the State of Indiana, certify to the Governor of the State of Indiana, under Indiana Code 3-12-5-7, that at the general election conducted on November the 3rd, 2020, the following candidates for electors for President and Vice President of the United States received the number of votes set forth below. On the Republican Party ticket, Donald J. Trump of Florida for President of the United States and Michael R. Pence of Indiana for Vice President of the United States received 1,729,516 votes. On the Democratic Party ticket, Joseph R. Biden of Delaware for President of the United States and Kamala D. Harris of California for Vice President received 1,242,413 votes. On the Libertarian Party ticket, Joe Jorgensen of South Carolina for President of the United States and Jeremy Spike Cohen of South Carolina for Vice President of the United States received 59,232 votes. On the Green Party ticket, Howie Hawkins of New York for President of the United States received 988 votes. On the American Solidarity Party ticket, Brian Carroll of California for President of the United States received 893 votes. Independent Sean Howard of Florida for President of the United States received 23 votes. Independent Valerie McCrae of Indiana for President of the United States received 17 votes. Independent Joe Schreiner of Ohio for President of the United States received 13 votes. On the Jehovah and Jesus Independent Dance Monastery Towers Religion Church Incorporated ticket, James L. Johnson of Indiana for President of the United States received 5 votes. Independent Deborah Ann Rouse of Tennessee for President of the United States and Sheila Marie Cannon of Michigan for Vice President of the United States received 4 votes. Independent Mitchell Williams of Florida for President of the United States received 4 votes. Independent Christopher Street of Indiana for President of the United States received 2 votes. Independent Randall F. of Wisconsin for President of the United States received 1 vote. Independent Casey Wells of Illinois for President of the United States received 1 vote. Independent Abram Loeb of New York for President of the United States received 0 votes. And now we'll do the roll call and the determination of quorum. I will now read each name appearing on the roll of presidential electors and alternate electors. As your name is read, please stand and announce aye or present and remain standing for the administration of the oath. Edward J. Simcox, James R. Buck, aye. Dana Dumazich, aye. Courtney Papa, George Brown, aye. Matthew D. Whetstone, aye. Jeffrey M. Heinzman, aye. Don E. Bates, Jr., Brian L. Mowry, aye. William Springer, present. Beth Boyce, aye. And the alternates, Kyle Hupfer, aye. Matthew Huckleby, aye. Michael D. Simpson, aye. Deborah K. Johnson, aye. Gerald M. Walker, aye. Stephanie Beckley, aye. Michael L. Klein, aye. Douglas Oler, aye. Lisa Dietrich, aye. E. Wayne Park, Jamie J. Knoll. Electors Edward J. Simcox, Courtney Papa, and Don E. Bates Jr. submitted properly certified resignation letters to Governor Holcomb ahead of today's meeting. In the letters, they asked the governor to replace them with their alternates, Kyle Hupfer, Deborah K. Johnson, and Douglas Oler. Mr. Hupfer, Ms. Johnson, and Mr. Oler are here today and have been commissioned by Governor Holcomb to fill these vacancies created by Mr. Simcox's vacancy, Ms. Papa's vacancy, and Mr. Bates' vacancy. Since these vacancies have resulted from the properly certified resignations of the electors and the alternates have already been commissioned to fill the role, we will now proceed with the program. So please raise your right hand and respond, "I do," when I have finished reading the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Indiana, and will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as an elector or alternate elector for President and Vice President of the United States in and for the State of Indiana, to the best of your skill and ability, so help you God? I do. Very good. Thank you. You may sit, I believe. Yeah. So now to the work. The staff members of the Indiana Election Division will distribute to each elector your oath of office. Please print your name and sign the oath of office. The Election Division staff will collect all completed oaths. And while they're doing that, I want to thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the members of the Indiana Election Division for the many long hours they have put in during this election season. They provided an essential link of support to the election officials throughout the state who conduct our elections. As we all have witnessed, the business of elections is very intricate, and fast and accurate information is required. So I'm really proud to say that in Indiana, our election division provides this. Are we good? Okay. All right. Ballots will now be distributed to the electors for the President of the United States. Please write Donald J. Trump on the ballot to ensure your vote conforms with how President Trump has requested his name appear. To be helpful, we've placed a sheet on the desk with the correct spelling. Again, the Election Division staff will collect them when they are completed. The ballots cast for the President of the United States have been tabulated. All 11 votes have been cast for Donald J. Trump. The ballots will now be distributed to the electors for the Vice President of the United States. Please write Michael R. Pence on the ballot to ensure your vote conforms with how the Vice President has requested his name appear. To be helpful, we've placed a sheet on the desk with the correct spelling. The ballots have been cast for Vice President of the United States. All 11 votes have been cast for Michael R. Pence. We will now distribute several copies of 2 documents for each elector to sign. These forms will be forwarded to Congress. The first form is the Presidential Elector's Certificate of Vote, so please sign above your printed name on this form. The second form is the transmittal form. This has 11 blank lines. These forms will appear on the Library of Congress's webpage. Federal law requires that the documents that the electors are signing to be sent to several officials to make certain that Indiana's electoral votes reach Congress in time to be counted. The documents are sent to the Vice President of the United States in his capacity as the President of the United States and the President of the Senate, I should say, the Vice President of the United States in his capacity as the President of the United States Senate, 2 copies are sent to the Archivist of the United States. My office retains 2 copies as Secretary of State, and 1 is sent to the Honorable Jane E. Magnus Stinson, Chief Judge of the Federal Courts for the Southern District of Indiana. Indiana's electoral votes will be counted during a joint session of Congress to be held on January the 6th, 2021. You know, normally this would have been a time where we would have had some music or some pomp and circumstance while this is going on so we could entertain you, but we decided because of COVID that we needed to be socially distanced and not have any more people in the chamber than we absolutely needed to. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to take just a moment as your Secretary of State In 2012 and in 2016, I was able to preside over the Electoral College. And 2020 is my last Electoral College that I will preside over, and so I just want to let you all know that it's been very significant to me to be able to take part in this historic event, and it's been an honor as your Secretary of State to do so. It's really one of the most important events that I think a Secretary of State can be in charge of. So thank you very much for your allowing me to do that.
Maybe the only Secretary of State is presided over 3.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I know I'm the longest ever serving Secretary of State, yeah.
law, so they don't need to do 6 copies. I mean, 1950s laws are
Yeah.
the 1950s.
Should be able to copy them. Everybody wants an original signature.
I'm just glad that we're not like Pennsylvania because their certificate is huge.
Oh, I'm sure. How many do they have?
They have 21 first. But yeah, but their document is just huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes 2 people to hold the president reads it, if I recall from watching
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Madam Chairman, do you care to hear the applicant in Indiana?
I beg your pardon?
Would you care to hear back home again in Indiana?
Are you volunteering to sing?
I don't think that goes with CDC guidelines.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we're supposed to
We're
sing.
going to avoid that today, but thank you for offering.
You're welcome.
I really didn't know what to say. We could have.
So, all those different votes you listed for president, are those write-ins?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna start, if I know they're gonna get read at the electoral meeting, I'm gonna start voting for myself every week. I thought you had to, like, make the ballot to get your name right, so. Just to get your name right. I didn't know that was on.
You couldn't even get a. Yes.
The only thing I don't know is how's that one guy got 0 votes.
Yes.
What does that mean? Why is,
Yeah,
why does his name get read?
I don't know. I need to ask Matthew and Angie.
Well, there's only the president, Biden, and the one libertarian on the ballot.
Right.
I guess, but I think it's mostly tradition how we interpret statutes is that when you read the certificate of ascertainment, we have to include each candidate who is eligible to receive votes for the electoral
Okay.
college.
So they
Yes, but they just made it here. I mean, it is very easy to be a writing candidate for office in Illinois. I know that you just need to fill out a form and have it notarized. And then if you file by our deadline, we include you on the list of writing candidates.
So I gotta do that.
Yes.
That seems a little bit more work.
Yep, that one is good.
We have one completed.
One complete. Yes, Pat Buchanan in 2000, I think, is the last minor party candidate who's ever gotten ballot access.
Is that right?
Yes. The Greens, but never let them work. But yes, but he won it with when he was nominated as the Reform Party.
When was that?
2000. Perot did, yes, in 92. Maybe he did in 96.
Sounds like they got somebody's doing music for us.
Yes. So, okay. Yes. In 1980 may be the last time that we had more than 3 parties that could have ballot access.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only one more left?
Only one more left? Okay. Okay, we have all of the transmittal forms signed. So we will conclude. As we conclude, I want to thank the Governor's Office, the Secretary of State staff, the Election Division, and the State Republican Party staff for their assistance in preparing the commissions and the certificates and executing today's ceremony. So with no further business to be conducted, I recognize Jim Buck for a motion.
Madam Secretary, I move that we adjourn.
There is a motion that we adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Electoral College of 2020 is adjourned. Thank you.